So I have some news that I think everyone's heard by this point, but I've nonetheless decided to give my spin on. Today there was a series of explosions and gunfire uh, in Terminal 2 of a Turk airport, which is located in Istanbul, Turkey. And according to the Prime Minister, Ben Ali Yildirim, you're just going to have to forgive me on pronouncing his name, in a manner that is not correct. But nonetheless, according to him, at least 36 people have been killed, along with 147 that were injured. And that includes the attackers. All three of them are deceased. They were suicide bombers who took plenty of people with them, unfortunately. Now, I don't know the state of each individual living person. That we haven't really heard much about them other than the fact that they've been injured. But even then, I really hope they recover. Now, in just kind of addressing this, because this was being featured on TV all today, and it was just completely swarming the television as far as everything was concerned. Other media that was being ignored, the election right now, just everything related to it, the Brexit nonsense that people have been speaking about over and over again, and this took all of them and just did away. And so I'm going to be the main story of today, and probably for the next few days to come, I would believe. Although we do have a tendency to pay less attention to acts of terror abroad, such as the Brussels situation back in March. I sometimes in doing this, almost because it really started at Brussels, but after UCLA and Orlando, and now this, I just realized those three were all in the same month. Now UCLA wasn't to anywhere near the degree of this, but the idea is that you have some shooting that's either in a high profile place, which may not have many casualties, or you have a shooting that is in a very low profile place, a place you wouldn't normally just focus on, and gets a high number of casualties. And it's all the more surprising because it's usually tied to some act of terrorism, which is what this is being alleged to have been the result of. So it's just a pattern that I'm noticing. It's something that is kind of frustrating to me only because I really I get very disturbed at the idea that I have to continue to report. I don't have to, but I choose to report news and things that occur on a day-to-day basis. And this is something that I repeatedly hear of over and over and over again. These continued shootings and just it's terrorism. It is complete and utter terrorism. And what's worst about this is, yeah, the people who did it are presumably dead, but so are the people who fell victim to it. Even if they weren't injured, a lot of them are dead, and no one seems to want to pay attention to that. You can talk about how we got one or two less bad guys out of the world, but look, we got rid of 30, must have been at least decent people because of that person or those three people. So it's just a trade-off that I don't even think is worth acknowledging in a positive light. And I've seen people today acknowledge it that way, and just throughout the course of you know just the hours that have passed since this was reported by the Fox and other major news stations. Overall, I'm very disturbed. I'm scared to think about how far they will take this. And I'm not just talking about ISIS or any other um, organization or group, because these have been perpetuated by individuals, not a massive team of 50 people going in, storming the place. I'm just wondering, when are we going to get to a point where people just wake up? I'm not talking about normal, regular, everyday American people. I'm talking about the ones we have at the head of government, the ones we have overlooking these security systems and other types of purported protection that's doing anything but protecting us. When they're going to realize that all these people are dying because they're not doing their job right, seemingly, or are not taking the proper steps to stop this from happening. I'm not talking about banning a religion like someone else we know. I'm talking about actually doing something to prevent individuals of this nature. Why can't we just have regular checks where they just go through and see what you have on you? I would rather that than this, because it's not, you can't justify it. You can't justify allowing it. You can't justify being indifferent to it. I'll just put it that way. But anyhow, thank you for watching and have a good day. And be safe, because stuff now is just getting out of hand. Talk to you later.